How's it all, you lacquer people, and welcome back to another Tech Tips Tuesday. My name's Conrad Davies, and today we're going to talk about how to make your cables look a little bit neater, keep them a little bit safer, talk about this funny spiral thing, these things, and why you should throw these away. But first, let's roll that intro. Okay, so maybe this is going to be a little bit more tech than Tips Tuesday, and a great chance to show off my Kona Remote 160. I've done a couple of upgrades. All the XT stuff is now on, XT brakes, and the XT Di2 group set. Here you see the little cable keeper that I made. Really cool idea, I'll show you how to do it later. But the bike turned out really well, and the XT has made a huge upgrade. I'll talk about it in another video, but it's amazing how well the XT Di2 group set works with the Shimano Steps motors. Here I've got my 1UP EDC tool in the front, and as you can see, the bike is looking nice and neat, ready to go out and ride and have a lot of fun on, and keep me going through the winter, I guess. Tip number one, a lot of bikes come with these plastic clips that work really well, but they don't really stay in place. Here's a better tip. Take a cable tie, a cable ferrule, cut the cable ferrule in half. Then you're left with the end piece, which you can throw away, and a tube. You keep that tube, take a cable tie, feed it through the tube, over your first cable, and back through the tube. Then over your second cable, and tie that up in place. Pull the cable tie nice and tight, snip off the excess, and there you go. I've used heat shrink to neaten up my cables, but you have to do this while you're building the bike, otherwise your cables won't go through the heat shrink. The other option is to use this spiral cable keeper, which you can buy off Amazon, and just simply wrap it around the cables. Again, you have to keep your cables pretty neat, so they have to be the right length, and if you have to go through the trouble of cutting your cables shorter and your brake hose is shorter, then you might as well do the heat shrink trick. But otherwise this works really well. You just wrap it around, make sure that you push it all together really well, and then once you've got it wrapped around, just remember to use 2 cable ties at each end just to keep it in place. And the cable clips that bike manufacturers put on their frames to keep the cables in place are a waste of time because they just come off and get lost. So instead of them coming off and getting lost while you're on a ride, rather take them off and put a cable tie on, and then again cut the cable tie really close to the head. Why cut the cable ties so close to the head? Because if you don't, the little piece that's sticking out is going to end up scratching you or somebody, and it really hurts. It's like a paper cut. It's really annoying. So here's a bonus tip. Before you start recording with your GoPro camera, make sure that the lens is clean, because otherwise you get kind of out of focus blurry shots, which suck. Thank goodness I realized and wiped the lens at some point. So the process of putting the Di2 group set was quite a big job, but recabling an e-bike is quite a big job. It's getting that motor out that's the big thing, getting it out and getting everything, all the cables to run underneath it, and then putting it all back together. But it worked out really well. I managed to get the app set up really well so that the Shimano app talks to the bike and I can tell it how to shift gears in relation to how the motor is pedaling. I'll talk a little bit more about the Shimano Steps app as well as Emax's app and how I use them to get the bike set up really well in a future video. So again, thanks for watching. I hope this helped in a little way. I hope you're all riding safe, staying warm if you're in the northern hemisphere and staying cool if you're in the southern hemisphere. So until next time, stay healthy and cheers.